Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name is Anashi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Read SCP Foundation Wiki. Now, it's been a little while since I've done an episode of this, and that was totally my bad. Also, sorry for how late this episode is going up. I was aiming for 6 o'clock, but it didn't go down like that. So, in this episode, we're going to start with the degenerative metamorphic entity and see how far we get. I'll probably hit SCP-100 in episode 20. So, it is a Euclid. 71 is contained in a modified standard humanoid containment cell with no direct observation capabilities. Surveillance of 71 may only be performed via closed circuit. Okay, for a second I thought I had already read this one, but I guess just a lot of them have to be looked at with video. With a minimum of 60 seconds of delay. Experimentation with 71 may only be performed with permission from at least 2 level 4 site directors. And personnel entering 71's containment area may only do so in groups of at least 4. Any personnel exhibiting unusual or compulsive behavior must be removed from the area immediately, given a full psychiatric screening, and either administered a Class C amnestic or reassigned as deemed appropriate. Under no circumstances should personnel be permitted to observe SCP-71 directly or through non-delayed surveillance footage. All visual recordings and photographs of 71 must be destroyed immediately once they are no longer needed. Description: 71 is a metamorphic entity that possesses the ability to assume forms consistent with that of its observer's strongest sexual desire. This ability is effective even though barriers designed to prevent S-71's recognition of any observer, such as through closed-circuit surveillance or one-way mirrors, but can be prevented by introducing a delay in surveillance footage so that such observation does not occur in real time. 71 appears to be unable or unwilling to change form without external stimuli, instead remaining in its last form when left unobserved. There appears to be little or no limit to the forms 71 is capable of assuming. See Addendum 71-1 for additional information. 71 also appears to be intelligent. However, as it has not shown any ability to verbally communicate and its behavior is limited to actions which entice its observers to sexual activity, it is unknown whether 71 actually possesses sentience or merely mimics behavior expected by its observers. Human subjects allowed to engage in sexual activity with 71 suffered rapid atrophy of muscle, skeletal structure, and brain function, with onset occurring 1 to 2 days after contact. The atrophy persists for up to 7 days, dependent on physical therapy administered after onset, though the subject may also suffer permanent decrease in stature, decreased organ failure, decreased brain mass, and sterility. Subjects who achieve auto-gratification through masturbation via the use of media containing 71, whether delayed or not, suffer the same effects. 71 came to the Foundation's attention on blank following data expunged. Due to ongoing medical cases consistent with exposure to 71, efforts to remove all visual recordings of 71 from the internet are ongoing. Researcher's note. 71's ability to change forms does not appear to be limited to normal human subjects. On blank, when presented with subject D7883, 71 assumed the shape of a female golden retriever. 7883 reacted with shock and refused to proceed with the experiment, though the subject's physiological signs were consistent with a state of sexual arousal. See, now, I was tempted to make a joke about that, but figured it would be in bad taste, but I guess the entry beat me to it. On blank, 71 assumed the form of a female human corpse when exposed to D8762. Medical staff confirmed a complete lack of life signs, and 71 suffered no harm from the transition, later assuming the form of a blank-year-old male subject when exposed to D8765. Okay, next up is the foot of the bed. That sounds creepy, but it's safe. And here's a picture of SCP-72-2 stripped of covers before being removed from blank apartments. All known instances of 72 are to be contained in a 3.5 by 4 meter holding cell. Access is allowed only during authorized testing procedures. Without prior approval from Senior Researcher Grant, no materials created for the purpose of being slept on are to be introduced into a 15-meter vicinity of the holding cell. Description: instances of 72 were discovered in an apartment building in blank, Michigan, after 2 local media reports on 72's effects caused a local panic, which drew the attention of embedded Foundation agent blank. 72 is a shadowy and translucent projection which resembles a 0.9 meter long hand the fingers of which taper to a sharp point. Detailed recording of 72 is difficult as it does not manifest at light levels above 5 lux. So it's the boogeyman. Or the creature that's under the bed when you try to sleep with your foot out from under the covers. Instances of 72 have only been observed to manifest when the human, hereafter referred to as the subject, enters REM sleep while located as in a bed infected by 72 and leaves a foot or feet exposed to open air. I was joking? Alright then. If these conditions are satisfied, 72 will emerge from the foot of the bed and appear to use its pointer finger to tap on the subject's foot until they awaken. Subjects have reported that, at this point, they were unable to move, showing symptoms similar to sleep paralysis. This continues as long as 72 is visible. 72 will then use his pointer finger to cut portions of flesh from the exposed parts of the subject's foot or feet. It will return to within the bed in between each removal, emerging without the collected material. This will continue until 72 has taken all of the exposed foot or feet, stopping at the ankle. Though subjects exposed to 72 report this process to be immensely painful, its paralytic effects render them unable to scream or call for help. It is unknown if manifestations of 72 feed on the collected material or use them for some other purpose. As long as the wounds are properly treated, 72's effects are not fatal, but have been observed to cause psychological damage relating to sleep in the future. There is also a secondary effect. Any bed within an approximately 10-meter vicinity of a bed which manifests the effects of 72 will also host an instance of 72. Destruction of a bed affected by 72 reveals no anomalous materials and no trace of biological material removed from the subjects. How is this safe? Honestly, nothing about that sounds safe to me. List of 72 objects. SCP-1, 2, and 3. Recovered from original apartment complex. 3 twin-sized beds which were located within 10 meters of each other. As 72-4, a king-size 4-poster bed contaminated during 72's time in site blank. Temporary anomalous objects holding. Tau. 72-5, a sleeping bag with bottom removed introduced to 72-1 for testing. When 2991 entered REM sleep in object, data expunged. 72-5 not recommended for testing in future. 72-6 and 7, beds introduced to 72-2 and later destroyed for examination. Remains of 72-6 and 7 appear unaffected but are to be contained until further studies may be completed. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say on the record that a hand from inside of a bed taking somebody's foot bit by bit does not sound safe to me at all. Anyway, moving on. Cain. How is it? It's funny, it's called the foot of the bed and it's the hand, actually. Cain is Euclid. 73 is to be kept in a 2-room cell, furnished with all non-organic furniture and items, and a bathroom. Subject is allowed to freely wander the facility and eat in the main canteen. A tracking device has been attached to 73's person and is not to be removed. Subject is disallowed any contact with the surface and is not allowed outside the facility. Subject is allowed no contact with plant-based SCPs under any circumstances, and violence is not to be used against 73 under any circumstances. They are currently in Site 17. 73 appears to be a heavily tanned male of Arabic or Middle Eastern descent in his early 30s. He's 6'1" and is 165 pounds with black hair and blue eyes. His arms, legs, spinal cord, and shoulder blades make him seem to be replaced with artificial versions of something. Subject only takes notice of this when it's pointed out and says that it has no knowledge of how, when, or why these replacements took place, stating it had him as long as it could remember. There's a symbol engraved into his forehead, which appears to be of Sumerian origin. Symbol has of yet been untranslated, and subject appears distressed when the symbol is mentioned at all, refusing to speak on it. Subject does need to eat and drink on a regular basis, but is strictly carnivorous owing to its effect on plant-based items. 73, who refers to itself as Cain, is generally polite and genial to all who speak to it. Him, whatever. Though he has been described as being cold and somewhat mechanical in his speech. He's very helpful and enjoys aiding personnel in their daily actions, whatever they may be. He has highly detailed knowledge of ancient to recent events in history, and most commonly spoken languages in the world, including ones that have since died out. Subject has professed to have a photographic memory, remembering word for word all text in an 800-page dictionary that was flicked through in a minute and a half. He has scored above average in all intelligence tests given to him. 73's presence is inimicable? Inimical. Alright. To any and all life grown in soil, causing death to any such life within a 20-meter radius. Alright. Any land he has walked on, and any within 20 meters of it, becomes barren, as all anaerobic bacteria dies, rendering the soil incapable of supporting life until new bacteria are introduced. Anything that is derived from soil-grown life, such as wood, paper, immediately rots and disintegrates upon his touch. Further affected derivatives include anything hydroponically grown, whatever the hell that means. What does that mean? Google, tell me. Hydroponics is a subset of hydroculture, the method of growing plants without soil, using mineral nutrient solutions in a water solvent. Terrestrial plants may be grown with only their roots exposed to the mineral solution, or the roots may be supported by an inert medium such as perlite or gravel. That didn't answer shit, but alright. Go away now, Google. Violence directed towards him reflects any damage inflicted upon him directly back onto the attacker. Although he physically remains unharmed, this applies to any damage directed at him. Attempts to get tissue and blood samples have proven futile. When the procedure was initiated, personnel carrying out the action felt the sensation of whatever was applied to him, and wound up with a sample of their own blood or tissue, despite the fact that all actions were directed solely at 73. Indirect damage through a medium also results in the person perpetrating the action receiving the wounds caused. Although he receives no actual harm from damage to his person, he has stated that he still feels the pain of the action, and has politely asked researchers to abstain from overly harmful actions to him. Additional notes. He was found in the New York Police Department in 19-something, having been taken in after he was found amidst the bodies of several violent gang members. He told police that they had attempted to make a sport of him but became angry and attempted to kill him, resulting in their own demise. He was put in jail and was deemed a John Doe when they couldn't find any information on him. Cain came to the attention of the Foundation through a routine inspection of John Does and was subsequently released into our custody. Addendum 73-1. In light of 73's indestructible nature, photographic memory, and general will to please, High Command have deemed that all information is to be backed up on 73, ensuring it is not lost in the event of a catastrophe. While this action is met with mixed responses, 73 has agreed and sworn itself to secrecy on his part. When information regarding 76 was brought to his attention for backing up, he showed familiarity with the information, although was disinclined to adding to it, despite the fact that he already knew all about 76. He's then stated it would be better for all parties involved if he did not meet 76. Examination of the unidentified metal on 73 has suggested that it is beryllium bronze, a metal that has been documented as being utilized by various anomalous cultures and entities. Most notably, beryllium bronze is a component found in 1216, 1427, 2881, and 2711. In light of this discovery, the Foundation began working in an attempt to trace the origins of beryllium bronze and how it initially spread throughout the world. When prompted, 73 was able to provide information that suggests that beryllium bronze originated in the Middle East, though the exact point of origin has yet to be determined. Further research into the origin of beryllium bronze is currently ongoing, and we're almost at 76, who is able, even if it's spelled weird. But first we gotta get through the quantum wood louse and the corrosive snail, which sounds like a buddy cop gang from the 5th dimension. Wait, is it? Oh, no, there's the 5th dimension, never mind. Okay, so, updated file. 74 is contained at Site 81. 74 is an active info hazard. No research in evaluating its anomalous properties is to be conducted. All personnel who have previously engaged in research into its anomalous properties, who have a post-secondary or greater education in physics, or who have access to Archive 74317E must never come within 5 kilometers of 74. 74 is contained within a 6x6x3 meter reinforced glass chamber, filtered to block all ultraviolet light, and situated within a windowless room lit by monochromatic safe lights, which serves as a secondary containment. The containment chamber is to be surrounded with scaffolds bearing sheets of live cultured human skin, held parallel to the surfaces of the containment chamber, and arranged overlapping each other such that lateral coverage is at least 95%. Skin sheets must be a minimum of 3 millimeters thick, and warmed to 37 degrees Celsius, and must be grown from samples provided by D-class personnel with no less than a middle school education and no more than a high school education. So it's gots to be teenage skin. Gross. All skin sheets are to be examined on a daily basis for instances of 74-1. All instances of 74-1 are to be excised and incinerated. Gotta keep it incinerated. 74 is to be fed 75 grams of fresh shredded apple, genus Melasse, leaves, bark, and fruit, hydroponically grown to ensure lack of pollutants and foreign organisms once a day via mechanical dispenser. In the event of spontaneous containment breach, personnel can coerce 74 into returning to its containment by first occupying each of its 4 sets of jaws with an entire raw apple, then physically pushing it into the desired direction, gently tapping its compound eyes with an open palm, or spraying its front pair of antennae with a 0.5 solution of methanoic acid. What the hell is... what is this, the woodlouse? The quantum woodlouse? What the hell is a woodlouse? Hold on. Pillbugs? A woodlouse is a pillbug? How big is it that it eats apples and shit? What was this one? Euclid? Okay. 74 is an anomalous organism which uses various quantum properties at a macroscopic scale, and in other ways modifies the standard laws of physics within its immediate vicinity. The specific nature of these modifications appears to be linked to the extent to which humans in 74's vicinity are aware of the precise details of the physical laws which 74 modifies, such that research to determine whether 74 has given property or capability results in 74 developing or manifesting that property or capability. Okay. Archive 74317E, a full list of the anomalous physical phenomena known to be or to have been associated with 74 is available to personnel level 3 or higher. Personnel who access this document will be disqualified from working with 74 or for any other reason coming within 5 kilometers of Site 81. 74 has repeatedly manifested the ability to spontaneously materialize at locations as much as 3 meters outside its primary containment. This is believed to be analogous to quantum tunneling. Foundation entomologists, have tentatively identified 74 as belonging to the order Isopoda, commonly known as a woodlouse. Its inertial mass is approximately 1,700 kilograms, but its gravitational mass is approximately 375 grams. Its volume has been estimated at 1.7 cubic meters, approximately the size of a compact car. That sounds horrifying. But this one's not safe, so that works out. 74 is a female and parthenogenetic. Periodically, the globular organ at the tip of its ovipositor luminesces and emits what was originally thought to be a form of non-iodizing radiation, but which has since been identified as coherent wave packets of the probability of one of 74's self-fertilized eggs, henceforth 74-1 reifying. Literally becoming a thing that is spontaneously coming into existence. Although it lacks the typical isopod marsupium or brood pouch in which eggs are incubated, and approximately 1.3 times an hour when it's shielded from ultraviolet light, and 29.2 times an hour when it's exposed to unfiltered daylight. 74-1 preferentially reify and incubate within the flesh of humans with knowledge of physics. In the absence of suitable humans to serve as hosts, the wave packets will reify within other organisms or within inanimate objects. However, rather than incubating, the eggs will wither and die, leaving perforations similar to radiation damage on a macroscopic scale. The wave packets appear to decay over time, as no wave packets or instances of wave packet-related damage have been detected at distances greater than approximately 400 meters from 74. The rate at which successfully incubated instances of 74-1 mature appear to be dependent on the host exposure to ultraviolet light. Within a host exposed to an average of 30 minutes of unfiltered sunlight per day for a month, an instance of 74-1 was observed to grow from 2 milligrams to 8 kilograms, whereas within a host totally isolated from natural light for a month, the 3 simultaneous instances reached sizes of excision of only 600 grams, 680 grams, and 710 grams. The complete developmental history and life cycle of 74-1, including how they emerged from their host and their size at emergence, is not yet known. Yeah, that was totally disgusting. Now the corrosive snail. I was about to say, if that was safe, that would be bullshit, but what the hell is that? Okay, so 75 is contained in a 1x1x1 meter level 4 corrosion-resistant container, which must be contained in a secure chamber with equal corrosion resistance. The absolute humidity of this chamber may not exceed 1% at any time. Sorry. Medicinal grade desiccants must be available at all times in order to maintain this level of humidity. If the humidity of 75's chamber ever exceeds 1%, all personnel are to be evacuated immediately and the site will be locked down until the humidity is reduced to acceptable levels. All personnel who enter 75's containment chamber must wear MOP level 4 protection. Injection tests, as well as any tests which involves an aqueous solution, are strictly forbidden. If any such solution comes in contact with 75, the area will be immediately locked down and flooded with desiccant until the humidity is brought back to acceptable levels. Evacuation of personnel remaining in the area is prohibited. Description: 75 resembles a large snail 20 centimeters in length, 13 in width, and 15 centimeters in height, with a muscular foot resembling a 6-fingered clawed hand. 75 is exceptionally heavy, with a mass of approximately 680 kilograms, a property that is not understood. Desiccation is the only known means of containing 75, as it will enter a dormant state when nearly completely dry. When not desiccated, 75 moves at incredible speeds incredible speeds for its size and mass. It adopts the behavior of a predator, jumping at and drenching its prey in a highly caustic base solution secreted from pores on its foot. These secretions are more corrosive than any substance known to terrestrial science. Due to 75's aggressive behavior when active, this compound cannot be harvested. No material completely resistant to its corrosive power has been found. 75F. I don't know why they started at F. Attempts to harvest 75 secretions must be approved and supervised by all on-site level 4 personnel. However, approval of said personnel cannot override the standing order to not introduce any liquid solution to 75, including its own secretions. 75G. Achievement unlocked. A cup of 75 secretions was successfully harvested using SCP-294. Testing is underway to determine what substances, if any, are immune to its corrosion. Testing is also underway to determine why the cup provided by 294 is immune to the substance's effects. Maybe we'll find out when we get there. But right now it's time to learn about Abel. And then the rot skull. Okay. Oh, Abel is Keter. Holy shit. From Dr. Somebody to Director Maria Jones. Record Keeping and Information Security Administration. Subject Revision of 76 SCP file. Blank. I have to go on record as saying that I seriously object to the proposed revisions of the SCP-76 Special Containment Procedures file. I know that Redact All Important Stuff already claims it's a security risk, but you and I both know it's just top brass trying to sweep their biggest and most embarrassing mistake ever under the damn rug. Omega-7 happened. It existed. Those people died because you screwed up, and you can't change that no matter how hard you try to hide it. For God's sake, man, those people guarding him deserve to know exactly what he is and what he did. What we did, how we fucked up, so they'll know better. Okay, so 76 Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Containment Area 25B is to be located 200 meters below sea level, tunneled out of solid bedrock in a seismologically stable area. Sole access to the containment facility is to be through a vertical elevator shaft separated every 50 meters with a reinforced blast door, constructed with 20 centimeter thick material shielding. Elevator shaft shall be flooded with seawater when not in use. Containment Area 25B is to be constructed with the following components: an outer security perimeter against outside threats staffed by security personnel trained in close quarters battle and counter-intrusion tactics. An administrative and support area, ASA, consisting of support facilities and living quarters for on-site personnel. A primary containment zone, consisting of a 7-meter cube encased in a 1.5 meter of reinforced material. Is to be designed to be flooded and drained as needed, and should remain filled with seawater unless access to contents is required. I don't know why I'm suddenly all stuffed up. 150-meter killing corridor, which is to be the sole access to the PX and the ASA, including water, power, drainage, and ventilation lines. The walls and floor of the corridor are to be reinforced in a similar manner to the PX, with the addition of an electric deterrent system capable of delivering a 20,000-volt shock. A security system located at the entrance to the killing corridor is to be staffed with no fewer than 3 armed security personnel on watch at any one point in time. Armament is to include, but not be limited to, at least 1 blank QE system on a pintle mount with a clear line of sight down the corridor with a plexiglass screen to protect the operator from thrown weapons. In the event of a full breach, all on-site staff are to proceed immediately to the closest security station for weapons and armor distribution. Staff will remain at Alert Condition 1 until 76-2 is confirmed neutralized. Should 90 minutes pass after declaration of full breach without a stand-down order being given by Level 4 or higher personnel, final contingency measures will be activated, flooding the entire facility in seawater and sealing off the access shaft for a minimum of 24 hours before retrieval is attempted. This will, by necessity, result in the deaths of all the on-site staff. Damn. Description: 76 consists of 2 components, a stone cube and a humanoid entity contained within the stone cube. 76-1 is a 3-meter cube made of black speckled metamorphic stone. All surfaces outside and within 76-1 are covered in deeply engraved patterns corresponding to no known civilizations. Radioisotope analysis indicates that the object is approximately 10,000 years old. A door is located on one side, sealed with a lock 0.5 meters in width, surrounded by 20 smaller locks in a circular pattern. As of yet, none of the keys have been found, making the door impossible to lock once closed. Interior temperature is approximately 93 Kelvin and cannot be altered by any means internal or external. Directly in the center of the room is a 2.13 meter tall stone coffin, held in place and sealed shut by several chains of unknown make and substance, which are attached to the inner corners of 76-1. 76-2 resembles a lean, Semitic human male in his late 20s. Hair is black, eyes are gray, skin tone olive. Subject is 1.96 meters in height and 81.6 kilograms in weight. Numerous tattoos depicting arcane and occult iconography are present all over the body, mostly in the form of leering demonic faces, and ranges from subtle to openly ostentatious. Subject, when encased inside 76-1, is technically dead. However, occasionally 76-2 will awaken, effectively reanimating, complete with all vital processes needed to sustain a living human being. Subject will then attempt to leave 76-1. If successful, subject will enter a trance state and seek out the nearest human being, ignoring all other living things in the process. Upon coming into contact with living humans, 76-2 will enter a rage state in which it attempts to engage and kill all humans encountered. To date, only the subject's death has been shown to be effective in ending these rampages. Terminating 76-2 is often problematic due to his significant physical abilities. Subject has superhuman strength and speed, and although not invulnerable, has shown a remarkable ability to ignore pain and shock, pressing on despite what would be debilitating wounds in normal humans. Prior encounters have shown that 76-2 has the ability to, among other things, rip through a reinforced steel security door over the course of 4 minutes of sustained assault, clear over 64 meters of distance in under 3 seconds, take multiple 50 caliber BMG rounds to the head and survive for several minutes to continue killing despite severe damage to the cerebellum, swat handgun and assault rifle caliber bullets out of the air with the length of steel rebar, survive for over 1 hour deprived of oxygen before finally asphyxiating. 76-2's most unusual ability, however, is its ability to apparently materialize bladed weapons out of nowhere. Slow-motion video footage reveals that the blades in question are actually pulled from a miniature dimensional rift described as a small hole in space. Where the portal leads is unknown, as is how 76-2 is capable of generating said rifts. Footage of the blades in question shows them to be made out of completely non-reflective black material, appearing as a black void in space. As the blades rapidly vanish after leaving the subject's possession, no structural analysis is possible at this time. 76-2 has effectively been killed several times in various manners. Sustained fire from multiple heavy caliber machine guns, asphyxiation, crushed beneath a 13.6 metric ton piece of elevator equipment for use on 76-1, cremation through the use of thermite TH-3 grenade placed directly inside of his open chest cavity. During the worst breach to date, Containment Area 25, which previously housed 76, was forced to detonate its on-site warhead as a last attempt to contain 76-2 while it was attempting escape, resulting in total detonation of the site and all on-site personnel. 76-1 survived. Upon death, 76-2's remains will putrefy rapidly until reduced to dust. 76-1 and the coffin within them will slam shut with great force and the lock will rotate, sealing it shut. 76-2 will then reform within the coffin, a process taking anywhere from 6 hours to 25 years. What posthumous analysis of 76-2 exists shows that it has an internal system highly different from our own, documented and data expunged. Additional. 76 was found in blank Mongolia in 18-something by archaeologists from England. All members of the expedition were subsequently killed on the return voyage home. 76 was recovered from the ship blank blank by the Blank Society, one of the organizations that later merged into the modern Global Occult Coalition, GOC, and placed on display in the Inner Sanctum. 76 remained in storage for blank blank years, until 76-2 became active and escaped on blank blank blank. The reason for 76's activation is currently unknown, but it was at this point that the keys to the outer shell were lost. A massive manhunt lasting over 3 years in blank blank took place until 76-2 was incapacitated by blank blank, killing it and causing it to reform inside 76-1, by then retrieved and secured by agents of the SCP Foundation. Subject was in custody for 3 more years under constant supervision and was terminated whenever it became active, although it occasionally was able to escape for short periods of time, often due to security breaches caused by attacks from other organizations. The Foundation's death toll due to this was data expunged, data expunged, data expunged. After the last incident, the current procedures regarding 76 were implemented, although they are regularly updated with the increase in technological standards. Now, what's this addendum? All information regarding Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7, Pandora's Box, are classified Q clearance by the order of the O5 Council. By proceeding, you are acknowledging that you have clearance to view these files and that you have received need-to-know permission from the appropriate level 4 or higher authority. Okay. From Director Maria Jones, Record Keeping and Information Security Administration, to Level 4 Administrators. Subject, RAISA update to Security Protocol regarding supplemental information regarding 76. File name, Addendum 76-1, Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7. Meta-7. Prior classification, 05. New classification, Level 3, need to know. Effective date, blah blah blah. Psychological profile of 76-2. 76-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own, or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way we would understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to 76-2, Able, it's quicker to say Able, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Able has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while Able has admitted greatly enjoying the act of killing, causing pain, either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. In short, a perfect sociopath. Intelligence tests have been wildly inconclusive when applied to Able, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This may be due to the alien thought processes of the subject. Able has, however, shown that it has great knowledge of human anatomy, although in a highly violent context, military tactics of open warfare, metallurgy, however the hell you say it, and, strangely enough, the care of livestock. Subject has knowledge of several languages including English, but most notable is its knowledge of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which seem to be its preferred language. 76 has nothing but contempt for human beings, with one exception. It seems to hold a wary respect for those it acknowledges as its superior. This was discovered when Agent Blank, an agent who had previously had a large amount of experience with 76-2, did not appear once it escaped. Subject seemed distressed, asking several personnel where Agent Blank was hiding. When it finally did learn the fate of Agent Blank, killed as collateral damage in an airstrike intended to halt the advance of 76 Blank, Able stopped its rampage and allowed itself to be escorted and restrained. Subject was then interviewed on the subject and sudden drastic changes in his behavior. Begin log. Why are you so interested in the death of Agent something? Subject begins swearing in ancient Sumerian. Why does his death bother you? You've killed many humans before. Why is he so... different? Because, unlike you, Sumerian word untranslated, he was a challenge, a real enemy. Why would that be good for you? Every time you have awoken, you've tried to escape. He was responsible for apprehending you several times. Surely you must be glad he's dead. I would hardly expect you to understand. Do you know, he managed to shoot me in the head over blank times? A man like that deserves to die in combat, so close to his opponents he can feel his breath, not in some Sumerian words untranslated. Destruction ordered by cowardly kings and princes safe in their palaces. The rest of you, you disgust me. I don't even have the urge to strike you down. Subject silent from then on, refusing to speak or respond. Damn. This indicates a possible psychological inlet into Abel's mind and a possible control mechanism. Given the massive drain on resources Abel causes due to his escape attempts, and considering Bow Commission's stated desire to weaponize SCP objects for tactical purposes, I recommend we pursue this as this course of action as soon as possible. From Dr. Something Something to Dr. P Something G. He said yes. Okay then. Project Proposal, Mobile Task Force Omega 7, Pandora's Box. I get the feeling this isn't going to go well. Support of Abel in the field in high-risk tactical situations. Task Force Special Asset Abel, Task Force Leader Blank, 10 to 20 field agents divided into 5 teams of 3 to 5 each. Members of the team are to be personally selected from elite field agents by Subject Abel himself in order to maintain a smooth relationship between the artifact and mundane elements of that task force. Security Protocol. Abel is to wear a device attached to the neck that, if triggered or tampered with, will immediately detonate, terminating 76-2 by way of a complete destruction of the spinal cord, trachea, and all major blood vessels in the neck. So his head blows up. Got it. A tracking device has also been attached to Abel's person. It is to refrain from killing unless ordered to do so and is to avoid causing damage to the organization's facilities. Armament and equipment. Team members are to be armed and equipped in accordance with MTF doctrine. As Subject Abel has no inclination to use firearms or in fact no understanding of their use or tactical implications, he is instead to be armed with 1 or more edged melee weapons of his choice. Addendum. For God's sake, find these guys something to do. Abel's getting bored and he started putting his team through live fire exercises. They get bullets, he gets training weapons. Have you ever seen someone break a man's jaw while using a Nerf sword? It's not going to stop until someone gets killed. That's impressive. I have a Nerf sword and I don't know if I could do that. Report by Dr. Pug, Project Omega 7. In light of Abel's proficient use of the Sumerian language, researchers have asked it to translate several documents. While it originally replied with disinterest, it has translated some of the documents it found worthy of its attention. Most of the documents chosen by Abel were regarding battles or legendary heroes, one of its favorites in particular being the Epic of Gilgamesh. However, one researcher presented it with the symbol from 73. Upon sight of this, Abel became highly enraged, killing several of the researchers before its kill switch could be activated. When revived and questioned about this, Abel responded aggressively and that line of questioning was immediately dropped. It is recommended anything pertaining to 73 never be brought to the attention of Abel and that the two are never to be in the same facility. Addendum 76-7. Recently, SCP-105 has been accepted into Mobile Task Force Omega 7, having beaten Abel in a contest to see which of the two could activate several devices evenly spaced over a mile away from each other and the starting point. 105 managed to score significantly higher than Abel by using her inherent abilities to her advantage. Abel ceded defeat and allowed her entry into the group. Addendum 76-9. Proposed introduction of Abel to 682 put on indefinite hold. Those with security clearance level 4 or higher may request access to contingency 76-2 number 3. 76-23. Per request of the Bow Commission, Mobile Task Force Omega is to be fielded in the blank region of blank against blank. From Dr. Somebody to Dr. P. Blah. Don't do it, P. For God's sake, don't do it. It's bad enough that they're trying to weaponize Iris too. Don't let the military bully us into doing their dirty work against some sand farmers in blank. From General Blank Bow Blank to Dr. P.G. Project Omega 7. A job well done. Excellent work, Doctor. The mission went exactly as expected. We'll be calling you again if we need your help. General Blank Bow Blank. From Dr. Blank by Blank to Dr. Blank Blank. I hope you're fucking proud of yourself, motherfucker. Hello, JPEG. Because you're a bigger asshole than this guy. From Dr. Blah Blah Blah. Oh. From Dr. PG, Project Omega 7, to Omega 7 Team, reassignment. As of this moment, Dr. Blank 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 has been reassigned to SCP-682 as Level 1 personnel. Data expunged. Data expunged. Despite our best efforts, Subject Abel is proving difficult to control. All our attempts to keep him engaged have been more or less unsuccessful. The problem is he's a perfect killing machine and that's all he wants to do, which seems like exactly what we wanted, but the problem is we can't seem to turn him off. Data expunged. I'm running out of missions to give him, and the ones I've got left aren't engaging him mentally. He started to lash out at the other team members. It's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Requesting permission to discontinue the project and neutralize Abel temporarily until we can find something more for him to do. From General blah blah blah, unacceptable. Neutralizing Subject Abel at this point is going to cause us an unacceptable delay. We'll have another mission for you within a couple of weeks. All you have to do is keep him busy until then. Send him on vacation or something. To all staff. Oh god. Abel has disabled the explosive collar failsafe and gone out of control. All staff to high alert. Further requests are as events warrant. Final option engaged. This is an automated message. Do not reply. As a blank 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 blank, Containment Area 25 has engaged its on-site nuclear warhead on 10-minute countdown. From 05 command to all sites. As a blank 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 blank, Containment Area 25 has been destroyed by detonation of its on-site nuclear warhead. Sites 67 and 68 are to activate the FEMA protocol and secure the location as soon as possible. Official cover sortie will be released by Reza to all personnel once drafted. Revised psychological profile of Abel. Abel either possesses a mind constructed with much differently than our own, or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way we would understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to Abel, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Abel has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while Subject seems to greatly enjoy the act of killing, causing pain holds no attraction to it. Intelligence tests have been wildly inconclusive when applied to Abel, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This is due to the fact that no communication is possible with the subject when it's in its rage state. Subject displays knowledge of several languages including English, but most notable is its knowledge of several dialects of the ancient Sumerian, which seem to be its preferred language. Abel has nothing but contempt for human beings and will kill them on sight. No communication is to be attempted with the subject. Okay, so it was upgraded to say don't talk to him. Okay, let's find out what the Rot Skull is. Because I've only done like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries, but that's because Abel had a bunch of extra things. The Rot Skull. Being red. 77 is to be kept in Research Sector 861 on top of an 0.5 meter steel pedestal in a 3x3x3 meter chamber with a 0.5 meters thick steel reinforced walls. The reinforced steel hatch door to the chamber is to comply with AH-37 protocol and is to be guarded at all times by 2 level 1 personnel. A boom mic connected to a speech recognition system should verify that all pronunciation is within standards. A camera is to be mounted within the chamber to record any changes. Every 8 hours, a minimum of 2, but preferably 3 trained D-Class personnel are to enter the containment area and, in a loud, clear voice, read the runes etched into SCP-77 in unison. The reading must be performed by individuals who understand the full meaning of the runes being read, who are able to pronounce the entirety of the inscription correctly, and who are no more than 30 centimeters away from 77. All personnel must undergo a 1-week training session with Foundation linguists for pronunciation, reading, and dialect coaching. A minimum of 20 D-Class personnel are to be trained or undergoing training at all times. Trained D-Class personnel are exempt from termination until such a time as they have been replaced. Foundation linguists are to remain on call in case of unexpected rune change. Every new set of runes is to be transcribed into phonetic English and provided with literal and idiomatic translations as quickly as possible. See 77 document 77 blank through blank for archive translations. The cafeteria menu for Research Sector 861 must not include any potatoes or potato-based ingredients. What? Okay, let's see if it explains that shit. 77 appears to be the top half of a human skull engraved with runes, each filled with an unidentified black resin. The runes change every lunar month, defined by the full moon rising above the horizon in Ireland, as well as at the winter and summer solstices, the spring and autumn equinoxes, and whenever a partial annular or total solar or lunar eclipse is visible from Ireland. If these engravings are not read aloud at least once within a 24-hour period, the eye sockets and nasal cavity of 77 will emit 77-1 and 77-1. 77-1 is a luminescent green vapor whose precise nature remains undetermined. It is to be noted that, although 77-1 behaves as a normal gas in all other ways, it only occupies those spaces which are within 77's effective line of sight, and does not flow into the space behind 77 unless confined. Opaque, impermeable barriers with no biological content can provide temporary protection from 77-1. However, attempts to permanently contain 77 within opaque containers have failed due to the artifact's production of sufficient quantities of 77-1 to explosively rupture these containers. All biological material, with the obvious exception of 77 itself, which come in contact with 77-1 is instantly transformed into a viscous, malodorous ooze. The ooze has been identified as the rotten flesh of potato tubers, which have been severely infected with the potato blight. 1 cubic centimeter of 77-1 transforms upward of 800 grams of biological material. Reading 77's engravings has noticeable, if transient, effects on the health of the readers. These effects include nausea, cramps, headaches, dizziness, incontinence, fever, skin rashes, nosebleeds, and fugue states. Effects intensify as the time between readings increases and can become cumulative for individuals who read the engravings too many times consecutively and or too frequently. Readers have a 60% chance of developing an allergy to potatoes. Addendum 77-1. The artifact was recovered from blank blank in a village of Redacted, Ireland. Locals had built a shrine around the artifact where upwards of Redacted participants would engage in a nightly ritual. Fragmentary historical documents retrieved from the remnants of the village church, see Archive 77-1576, and library, see Archive 77-1582, indicate that the artifact existed as early as 1848, at which point in time it is described in highly positive terms, including protector and redacted. By 1869, however, references to the artifact are fearful, resentful, and couched in euphemism. Sounds like this thing caused the potato famine. I don't know when the potato famine was. So, in the next episode, I'm going to continue at 78 and see how far I can get. I want to try to hit SCP-100 by episode 20. But there's no telling how long episode 20 will need to be if I want to actually pull that shit off. So, this has been Anashi Sasuke. This was episode 19 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later!